When the Zambezi runs low, hippos don't leave the water. They fight to keep it, because the dry season turns survival into a crowded countdown.
In the dry season, the river doesn't disappear. It concentrates, and every animal converges on the remaining depth. Every slide is a path between land and water, built by mass, repetition, and necessity.
Hippos are built for this in-between world, walking the bottom, rising for air, sinking back into shade.
The face is engineered for half-submerged living, seeing, hearing, and breathing, without fully surfacing.
The dry season's main threat isn't thirst, it's temperature and exposure.
In scarce water, even solitary space becomes a luxury.
Their day is timed in breaths. Surface, refill, submerge, repeat.
Hippos don't glide like fish. They stride through water, using buoyancy as a shortcut.
Their skin is sensitive to drying. Water is shade, sunscreen, and shelter, all at once.
When water is shallow, mud becomes a second skin, cooling and protecting from sun. In still air, the river carries every warning, every claim, every challenge.
In the dry season, borders tighten and disputes start faster.
A hippo's yawn is a warning, an announcement that space is claimed.
In crowded water, calves survive by staying welded to their mothers. Even feeding adapts to the semi-aquatic life, quick, protected, and close.
Daylight is for conserving energy. Movement is saved for the cooler hours.
In the dry season, alliances form in the simplest way. One species tolerates, another cleans.
The land becomes hostile, hot, sharp, and drying, pushing hippos back toward water.
Leaving the river is a risk. Sun, distance, and exposure all rise at once.
In harsh heat, a few meters of shade can feel like an oasis.
Water is more than comfort. It's survival infrastructure.
The group isn't random. It's a living map of rank and safety. They can hold their breath long enough to turn resting into a submerged routine.
Even while resting, they patrol with small, efficient checks.
Dry season forces meetings, species sharing the same shrinking resource.
Most confrontations are prevented by respect for distance.
When the air dries out, hippos retreat deeper into their element.
Water management is constant, wetness preserved, heat resisted, exposure minimized.
The hottest hours demand one strategy: do less.
Even a few degrees matter when skin and sun collide.
As the water drops, the herd reorganizes, always toward depth.
Most fights are settled by pressure, not injury, because injury is costly in drought. The river is their base, but food waits on land. Evening is the trigger. Cooler air means movement, and movement means grazing.
By night, the semi-aquatic giant becomes a grazer on land. They feed fast and low, harvesting what the dry season leaves behind.
On land, safety is formation.
Their world is navigated by habit, routes repeated until they become instinct.
Hippos live between land and water, but in the harsh dry season, water isn't a habitat. It's the only shield that keeps their bodies from the sun.
Every morning repeats the same equation. Heat rising, water shrinking, bodies adapting.
Corridors that once carried hippos now become bottlenecks. In drought, movement becomes a negotiation with gravity and space. When depth vanishes, even plants can't hide a giant from the sun. When water can't cover them, hippos improvise with what the season offers.
Predators watch, but a healthy hippopod is not an easy target.
In crowded water, small signals carry big meaning.
They remain present, without revealing more than necessary.
In heat, movement is about temperature more than travel.
In dense water, etiquette prevents accidents. As the river drops, the edges become traps, too steep, too brittle, too hot.
Mass demands caution. One fall can change everything.
Food becomes scattered, and grazing turns into long-distance effort. They trade daylight safety for nighttime access to land. Timing is everything. Back to water before the sun becomes a weapon. As pools stagnate, hippos rely on depth and routine to cope. Even at rest, the herd reshapes the riverbed.
People share the Zambezi too, and the dry season narrows everyone's options.
A calm pod is a controlled pod. Presence acknowledged, energy conserved.
The harshest hours are survived by staying submerged and minimizing exposure.
The river's shape changes daily, creating new barriers and new pressure points. In drought, migration can be measured in meters, not miles.
The herd's strength isn't just size, it's cooperation under stress.
Even small relocations can be the difference between comfort and overheating. The day loosens its grip, and the night routine prepares to begin again. Darkness is their window, cool enough to travel, safe enough to feed.
They graze like lawnmowers, steady, efficient, and relentless.
As food near the bank disappears, the nightly commute grows. These paths are the dry season's infrastructure, built without tools, maintained by need. They time the return precisely, water first, heat later. Submerging is more than hiding, it's recovery. The dry season leaves a signature on the landscape, like a tide that never returns.
In drought, endurance is a behavior, not a mood.
Protecting hippos in the dry season often means protecting the river itself.
The river creates a lifeline corridor, shade, food, and water stitched together. Their bodies sculpt the habitat, sometimes preserving depth, sometimes accelerating change. As the season hardens, patience thins, and tolerance becomes a scarce resource. Relief sometimes appears as a shadow first, then as rain. Even a small drop in temperature changes everything.
The Zambezi doesn't return overnight, but it begins to move again.
They respond to change immediately because water is information. Even in drought, life insists on small moments of normal.
In the harsh dry season, the river becomes a map of survival, and hippos sit at its heart.
Hippopotamus amphibius survives the dry season by living between worlds, feeding on land, healing in water, and